In 1 week, the President of the United States has had a credible rape charge against him. And that didn't make the front page of the New York Times when it first came out.
What is
a typical week, 5 or 6 things like this can happen.
Yeah.
Offenses to democracy, offenses to the truth, and it's all done cynically. And that, remember that word we all used to use in the beginning? We have to be very careful of normalizing Donald Trump. Well, mission accomplished.
New Yorker editor and presidential biographer David Remnick brings us the last thing before we go tonight. A reminder of the context to what happened today and its place in the history of a nation about to celebrate its 243rd birthday. The Trump presidency creates a daily avalanche of news, breaking norm after norm. So before we go tonight, a reminder of just this past month. The president began June with a state visit to the United Kingdom, denying that he called Meghan Markle nasty and responding to criticism from London's Mayor Sadiq Khan by calling him terrible and a stone-cold loser. He then claimed thousands in London's streets protesting him were actually there to support him. From there, the president went to Normandy, and while sitting in a cemetery of America's fallen heroes, he attacked Robert Mueller and added this about House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
I think she's a disgrace. She's a nasty, vindictive, horrible person. Nancy Pelosi's a disaster, okay? She's a disaster. She is a terrible person. And I'll tell you, her name, it's Nervous Nancy, because she's a nervous wreck.
Back in Washington on June 12th, Trump spoke to ABC News and said this when asked about potentially taking political dirt from a foreign power during the 2020 election.
If somebody called from a country, Norway, we have information on your opponent. Oh, I think I'd want to hear it.
You want that kind of interference in our elections?
It's not an interference. They have information. I think I'd take it.
Trump officially launched his re-election campaign the third week of June, and by that Friday was in a high-stakes showdown with Iran over a U.S. drone being shot down. The Pentagon was reportedly within minutes of launching a military assault before the president changed his mind. The president of the United States was also accused of sexual assault by writer E. Jean Carroll and responded that he'd never met her, despite this photo showing the two of them together. Lawyers have characterized the alleged attack as rape. Trump told reporters, quote, "She's not my type." And facing allegations of migrant children at the border held in deplorable conditions, the president blamed Democrats for a lack of funding and Barack Obama for creating his own family separation policy. June ended with a trip to the G20, where Trump smiled while telling Vladimir Putin not to interfere in the 2020 elections. Trump then tweeted an invitation to North Korea's dictator to meet him at the DMZ for a handshake, and then went there, shook Kim Jong-un's hand, and stepped onto North Korean Seoul. All that in just 1 month of Donald Trump's presidency. That is our broadcast for tonight. Thank you for being with us, and good night from NBC News headquarters in New York.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.